Hi, friends. If you follow me or know me, you know that I am absolutely interested in fashion and creators. Those two things, creators of music, creators of design, anything that brings out something new and unique. And I want to introduce you to a friend of mine that I've met in my trails in life that I think brings a unique symmetry to my beliefs of how we have to take care of things, how we have to be environmentally conscious, but without losing that creative edge. So, Anne from Liberty is a true creator. She's somebody who has invented an entire business around environmental consciousness. She does a lot of service of youth programs. I've learned about her through Scouts, which is a blessing. And I just think it's important for us to find original creators, local businesses, and people that we can support directly. And I'd just like to spend a few minutes and learn more about what you're doing now and maybe a little tiny bit of the history and what's new on your horizon.
Cool. Well, thank you. That's a nice introduction. What is new for us? Well, we are leaning more and more into the sustainability space and trying to drive sustainability into the fashion market as much as possible. I would say the best thing to do is just not to buy anything if you don't need to. Apparently, it's not a very good sales tactic. But, I was with one of my mentors the other day, and she was saying that you should only be buying 3 items a year, period. And so you'd really have to make sure that those items are, high quality, long lasting, they fit really well, and it's something that you want to hang on to for a
And you
long
have
time.
things that you've had for a long time.
Yeah.
And we just talked about some things that you've had for a very, very long time.
Like these jeans are from high school. This is how I started. I started upcycling denim
All right, so let's stop
and
there.
recycling.
Upcycling. This is a word that you don't hear very often,
Yeah.
but you will because it makes super sense. What is upcycling?
Upcycling. So when you find, I like to get great base garments, and they're all vintage, so it's all used, and I find them, Goodwill. I go picking. I go to antique markets, vintage stores. There's a lot of different sources, and then I upcycle them, turn them into something different.
Gotcha.
Right? Turn them unique pieces of artwork. Really, is what it is.
And almost everything that I've seen around, and there's a basic bedrock of things, right? Plaids and things for camps, things that are really things. But then there's this alter,
Right.
There's a patch somewhere, or it's just a little mix up that gives you that edge. So you can take older clothing or older things and then jazz it up and feel actually more hip because you're being environmentally conscious and you're also
keeping things out of the landfill. And it's a one of a kind piece, people want to have that individuality. It's great to have basic tees and things like that. But then you also need like amazing pieces that you feel really great in.
And something you mentioned earlier before we did this is about, this is oil. Like you held up like a fleece, like everybody loves their fleece, but this is just, it's oil, like it's just petroleum product, and we're putting it in our body and such. And meanwhile, plastics are still good, right? There are things in plastics, but recycled plastics, things that can be used again. But if it's brand new virgin petroleum, you probably don't want to own it.
Definitely not. And it just sheds microplastics into the water, which then we're ingesting, which is terrible for you.
So that brings me to what's the new fabric? What's the fabric that I may want to go to if I'm being conscious about what I'm buying? Because I'm only going to buy a few things a year, but I'm going to buy better. What's the fabric, or what's the things I should consider?
So if you're having to buy something, I would buy vintage, and then I would buy hemp and it's the new old fabric. Hemp used to be one of the largest grown crops in the United States, Canada, and worldwide. So they would grow it for oil, fabrics, paper,
rope,
sails and things like that. And it really it's kind of like linen, but it sequesters 60 tons of carbon for every ton you grow.
Wow.
So it really is decarbonizational and can make a big impact on the environment. The more hemp items you want.
Show us some?
Yeah. So this is hemp. This is a dress shirt that I had custom made for one of my mentors, Steve D'Angelo.
It feels like a cotton, a heavier cotton.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just pleasant to touch. It's not.
yeah, it's really nice. And then the vintage buttons, and then we put some stays here. So, and then did this one too.
Yeah, I
It's a
love that.
mandarin collar with a really clean front. This is also organic. So, then this is all hemp. So hemp lasts 3 times longer than cotton as well, and it just gets better and better with wear.
And does it, is it more like cotton or more like wool with regard to water absorption?
It is more like linen, like a linen
Okay.
tea towel.
So it's gonna dry quickly?
Yeah, it dries fairly quickly.
Something like
Cotton is a little heavier, so
Yeah.
it doesn't dry as fast.
When you're
But it's
sweating it.
wicking. Yeah,
It's good.
it is
That's good.
wicking, yeah. And it has better UVA and UVB protection than
Really?
cotton, yeah. Nice. And then I made him a jacket. This is 100% hemp as well. So he does, various speaking engagements, South by Southwest, and he goes to a lot of cannabis and psychedelic
I gotta
conferences.
say, I love the buttons.
The buttons are 1911. They're Indian head, which I don't know if
Fresh
that's
pennies.
PC. They're pennies.
Oh, really?
They're actual pennies
Oh,
from the
wow.
19, I think
That
the
is
date's on
brilliant.
it, but I can't read. So
Brilliant.
yeah, they're all upcycled.
Very good. So that this
Mhm.
makes sense.
So this is also upcycled. The liner is hand blocked fabric. It's 100% hemp, and I use this in my son's room for his curtains. And then I was like, I need some liner for Steve's jacket.
That is great.
So yeah, so that's for Steve. And then one of the pieces we're that I'm really passionate about is like mixing cultures. And so this is a army jacket, and
This blew me away the other day.
yeah, like
All of a sudden you turn around and it's a whole nother
So-
culture, a whole nother.
yeah,
It's great.
the Japanese, they have amazing kimonos, as you know, and often they just get folded and never worn. And so they get lines and things in them. And I work with a dealer. He salvages whatever he can from the kimonos, and I buy the pieces, and then we sew them onto these vintage army jackets and things like that.
It's great. Really great. And what are you wearing?
So I'm wearing a upcycled quilt piece. So it's a quilt, and we work with a couple like little boutique sewing operations that are local, and there's
Here in
one
Canada. Yeah, I should
here in
mention
Canada, yeah.
We're in Ontario, Canada.
Canada.
And that's Liberty is based. I know Liberty, you might not think,
Yeah,
but it's
Liberty Clothing.
Liberty Clothing. A few other Liberties out there, but look for Liberty Clothing in
Yeah.
Ontario.
Yeah. So, and it's basically vintage quilts that get
Wow.
upcycled, which
That's
is
great.
really cool. I get a lot of compliments on this piece. And again, like if you just have great basics, like have tees and things like that, then you can jazz up your wardrobe with a couple.
This is great. Not everybody can, I do like to sew a little bit, but I can't make anything that's
Yeah.
gonna be like wearable. But to be able to go to, a supplier that's thinking about this consciously. So here you have somebody who's cares about the earth. That's pretty good. Unique and creative, but the stuff is not, so far out of, it's not like you're watching, Fashion Week where everything's so avant-garde that you wouldn't really own it. And it's all approachable financially. Nothing here is that.
Right.
And as far as an organization, you support many camps. Like
Lots of cans.
people are wearing Liberty all over the place.
Yeah, we sell all over the States and in Canada. We're probably one of the largest vendors in the camping space in North
Wow.
America. And the quality is the best.
Yeah, and think about it, if you're going to camp, and I went to camp as a kid, and so did my kids, to be able to know that that camp shirt has got to be pretty valuable later on in life. Those are encapsulated memories of all the things
The
that.
best summers of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
let's hope we have a few more summers left when we make it too, but we're always comparing it to
Right.
the summer. Well,
Yeah,
Ann, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so much.
giving me a tour of the facility and meeting some of your great staff.
Yeah.
And hey, if you have a chance and you've watched this to the end of the video, take a few minutes out, go to Liberty Clothing, make sure it's the Liberty Clothing. It's libertyclothing.com,
.com. Yeah.
easy enough. And just check out some things there. Now, this is a local, single owner business. This is not some big corporate thing. So take your time and go through the site, find something you like, and
Cool.
order.
Thank you.